As an immigrant in Germany, losing my job wasn't just a career setback. It was an identity crisis. Now, before this, I had a clear vision for the years ahead and a sense of financial security. I was the one other women in my community turned to for motivation, support, and hope. Then suddenly, it all disappeared. Along with the job, I lost my sense of security and, more painfully, my self-confidence. Now left without a job, I realized how strongly my identity depended on my work. I associated myself with my profession and with results. When it was gone, it didn't just feel like unemployment. It felt like a personal and social collapse. I started doubting myself and my expertise. How could that happen? How can I be a role model for others? What support and motivation can I give to my community if I don't feel confident? It was an unexpected rupture in the story I thought I was writing. But what I didn't know then was that this personal glitch would reveal something much bigger. Not just about me, but about the power of women's communities to turn disruption into collective change. It took some time, but I shared my story with my community. To be honest, I was scared of letting people down. I felt so vulnerable and weak. I wanted to hide, to isolate, but I didn't. I opened my heart to the very same community I led. I told them that I failed. And you know what? Dozens of women shared their stories with me, each one carrying words of encouragement, belief, and hope. They didn't see me as weak or as someone who had failed. Instead, they helped me recognize it as an invitation to see myself differently. Talents I once dismissed as ordinary suddenly felt like gifts. Creativity, intuition, leadership, parts of myself I have long silenced were no longer weaknesses to hide, but seeds to grow. Many in leadership are taught to believe that vulnerability and gentleness weaken them in the eyes of others, that their status and their role should define them. My own story proves the opposite. When we take off our social masks and separate our identities from our professions, when we stop seeing ourselves as professionals and allow ourselves to be human, we feel a genuine connection to others. After this experience, I realized I was actually never destined to a 9-to-5 office life. I had simply hung onto the safety it represented. I clung to every opportunity to fit into the system, even if it didn't align with my personal interests or values. I was so afraid of sleeping that I slowly began to lose touch with who I really am. According to the United Nations research, migrant women encounter occupational segregation, discrimination, and underemployment. Brilliant, capable women often work in jobs that don't match their qualifications out of necessity, not choice. Incredibly talented and educated women end up in jobs that are unfulfilling. Personal experience has shown me the reality of the prejudice immigrant women encounter, the lack of support and emotional alienation. My own breaking point revealed something uncomfortable. I had built my identity on fears, not desires. The fear of losing status, not being good enough, not being accepted. I was so obsessed with the idea to have a socially recognized and stable job that I ignored the anger, frustration, and exhaustion quietly growing in me. It was time to act radically. It was time to stop betraying myself, to stop adjusting, and to start aligning my life with my personal interests, strengths, and passions. In just 2 short years, everything changed. I built a vibrant network filled with beautiful, ambitious, talented women. I developed projects that I only dreamt of, from a YouTube channel to international conferences that give female entrepreneurs a stage and a voice. I encouraged other women to trust themselves, to break away from the status quo and create their own paths. Together, we are proof that women's communities are not just emotional safety nets. They are launchpads for valuable businesses. I've seen women build ventures in well-being, caregiving, design, and education. They founded creative studios, cultural brands, financial and legal services. Women who felt invisible after migration redefined their stories to once again say, I matter. For example, my friend Elena, with a background in finance, noticed others in our network struggling with taxes, insurance, or real estate. What started small turned into a thriving business that now empowers dozens of families. Through my community, I discovered the real potential of female immigrants. When we are together, we stop seeing ourselves as victims of circumstances. Instead, we choose to be innovators, contributors, and leaders of the future. We are, in fact, informal business incubators. We don't just dream alone, we test our ideas together, share knowledge, and receive feedback that helps us grow. In our busy lives, disruptions like job loss or relocation are often the only moments when we finally stop running on autopilot. Moments like these force us to see the divide between what is expected and the passions that actually move us. We return to ourselves, to our dreams and our goals. We finally can step off the hamster wheel and see our lives from a new perspective. Failure can feel like a dead end, but within a truly supportive community, it becomes the first step toward reinvention. These spaces allow us to rethink who we are, learn hardened lessons, and transform in ways that open doors we may never have imagined. So the next time something breaks in your life, in your work, in the world, don't isolate. Surround yourself with people who reflect your strength, not your doubt. Because every breakdown holds the potential to become a spark. And in the right community, this spark doesn't just ignite your personal journey. It fuels movements. Your disruption could be the beginning of a much bigger change, not just for you, but for us all. Thank you.